Hi there everyone, really pleased to see you this afternoon on another rainy Easter day. Will the rain ever stop? We're going to be talking about how to be confident every time the money conversation comes up with your client today. So if you're fed up of your tummy leaping every time you know the money conversation is coming, then you're definitely in the right place today. If you feel that you will absolutely never feel comfortable with the money situation or money conversation, then what we're going to talk about today is going to really help you as well. And if it just really makes you scared every time you know that money conversation is coming, then again, you're in the right place today. We're really going to be talking about how you can feel confident almost every time that you come up with a money conversation. So if you don't know me, I'm Caroline Domanska and I'm a money mindset coach and income strategist, which means I help solo small business owners feel better about the way they think about money and the way that they do money. I come from a 20-year background in finance, in personal finance, so helping people work out where they are now, where they want to be, and what's stopping them get there. And also, as part of that, essentially a part of that journey I've been on with many people around their finances, that also involves sales at the end of the day. So I was a financial advisor for a long time, and that involved talking about the cost of advice, charges, that kind of thing, and also making the sale, so closing the deal and getting people to become clients. And I've been very, very successful at that over time. So hopefully I've got quite a bit to bring to the table for you today in terms of talking confidently about money every time that conversation comes up. Lovely to see people here. Hello V, nice to see you, and lovely that you've invited somebody to watch as well, so that's super. Do feel free to share the broadcast, give me loves and hearts and all of those lovely things that you're meant to do on Facebook Lives as well. So where does confidence come from? Let's talk about that first of all. So confidence comes from, or confidence in communication when we're talking to a client comes from feeling confident, which sounds pretty obvious, right? But where does that feeling come from? So where does what we feel come from? Well, feeling comes from the way we think about things. So what we need to do is first of all tap into the idea of what it is that we are thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something for you on just a small post-it note here. So quite a nice shiny one. This is how technical as I get. I think on Facebook Lives you can only share your screen if you've shared it in the beginning or something, I don't know. So what we're doing here, let me write this on the post-it note. Results, action. Okay, so this fabulous picture here is, now you wouldn't know this, but this is an iceberg. So this is an iceberg here, this bit here being the sea, okay, and what we often try and do when we are, so I'm just going to cover up this bit a moment, when we're trying to change something and change the way that something works, is that we focus on our actions. We focus on the actions here that we take in order to get different results. So one of the easiest ways perhaps of explaining that is, oh, it's mirrored around. Oh my God, well I really can't write it backwards. I don't know how to do that. I'm not that clever. Well, I shall endeavour to explain what it says. So, yeah, look, it is mirrored. How do we change that? No, that doesn't work either, does it? Anyway, so we're up here, we've got action and results. That's what that says. If you're good at reading backwards, then you'll be able to get it. And at the top of the iceberg, we often try and change the results that we're going to get by changing the actions that we do. So in a simple terms, for example, if we want to lose weight, we might start, say, well, I'm going to cut out biscuits, right? So we don't eat biscuits, and then we hope the result will be that we're going to lose some weight. But before we know it, right, our hands are back in the biscuit tin. And this can be the same when we're trying to change anything around what the results that we're getting in our business as well. So what we need to do is look and say, well, what's the other reasons? What's underneath that's perhaps driving my behaviour? So these two ones, this one says thoughts, and this one says feelings. So we need to find out what our thoughts and feelings are, so the things that are underneath. And we don't always examine these, we don't always look at these, we kind of go through life without raising our awareness around this, because there's a lot of things going on, right? Life is busy, life is at a pace, we're moving from one task to another task all the time, and we don't always give ourselves time to reflect at what's going on underneath. But if we can really raise our awareness here as to what thoughts we're having and the feelings they're creating for us, this can help change our action. So our action being the words that come out of our mouth and the confidence that we have around those when we're talking our prices and money with clients or potential clients. So we've got to first of all find out, well, what are we thinking in the very, very first place that's creating that feeling of ugh, or scaredness or like tummy flips, and creating that kind of action where you end up discounting your prices or just sending an email or not actually asking for the business at all, or just kind of hoping people will contact you. So what you need to know is the thoughts that you're having. So perhaps if you wanted to take a moment now just to think about money and think about being in that situation with a client, potential client, and just really tune in for a moment as to what thoughts that brings up for you. Just take a moment just to imagine you and the client sitting there. Perhaps you've gone out for a coffee, or perhaps you are having a chat over the phone, whichever situation you kind of normally see yourself in, where then you have to speak about the prices. I have to say, somebody says to you, so how much do you charge then? And see what comes up. So some of the thoughts, I know that people, feel free to pop down any of the thoughts you might be having in the comments if you feel comfortable to share. That'd be lovely to hear. But some of the thoughts I hear that often come up are things like, I shouldn't be charging this much. These are the sort of things running through your mind. Oh gosh, what if they're thinking I'm too expensive? And before you know it, a lower price has popped out of your mouth, right? What if you yourself, you're thinking, oh God, I don't think I'm even worth that much. And perhaps you're thinking, well, this work is so easy for me, I shouldn't even really be charging for it. If at any time the thoughts that you're having are negative, such as those, and you feel that almost like you're having to defend yourself against your own thoughts, or almost like you're the kind of evil villain against those thoughts, then it's going to be hard. The conversation is going to be hard. And these types of thoughts come from you. Oh, thank you for the hearts, Natalie. These kind of thoughts come from insecurity, a level of insecurity around your charges, around money itself, fundamentally around money itself, and and how you're thinking and those thoughts around that. So how can you move away from this insecurity? I think the first thing is to realise that your brain is always trying to protect you. Oh, hi Kathy. It's always trying to protect you. So that's its kind of number one job really, is to protect you from different things. So always be compassionate to your brain. It's not trying to get in your way, it's just trying to look after you. But we don't always need such a grand level of protection from our brain, and we can actually be in the driving seat, and we can be the ones who get to choose what we say. Okay, so first thing to do is to raise your awareness. So don't, be willing really to just hear what's coming out of your mouth, and listen and feel and take note of those thoughts. Okay, that's the very first thing. Just raise your awareness, and when you hear those things in your mind, one of the first things that I find really useful is to give yourself to catch those thoughts, and to give yourself an opportunity to almost pause before the thought kind of controls the action, if you were, so that you can deliberately make a choice toward another thought if you wanted to do so. And one of the good ways of doing that I find is just to do a technique called thank you for sharing. So something pops into your brain that you think, oh, is that what I'm thinking? Well, that's not really very helpful. Then just say to your brain, thank you for sharing. You can almost brush it away. Thank you for sharing, brain. And that way it's just acknowledging the thought you've had, but this is fine. Thank you for sharing it with me, brain, but I'm not using that thought today, thank you. So that can be one thing, just to almost give you a little breathing space before that thought controls your actions, because you might want a different thought that will serve you better. Sorry if it's a bit complicated, but once you get used to just even checking in with your thinking, you'll find that this comes a little bit more naturally for you. So then you get to choose what you say, because you yourself are putting on the filter, really. You're the one who's kind of having these thoughts and putting that, what you believe around money, what your experiences are around money, how money's worked for you, how these conversations have worked for you in the past. All of those things are coming through in about what's about to come out of your mouth. All those things are contributing to the conversation there. So I think true confidence comes from willingness to get it wrong, right? To really hear what you're saying, and that actually it just might be the wrong thing in that moment, but to start really tuning in and really hearing those thoughts and building those awareness of those thoughts and whether those thoughts serve you or not, and to give yourself that little pause before that thought takes hold. So that's where I think we can really start in terms of being confident every time the money conversation comes up, is to check in with what we're thinking before those thoughts come out of our mouth. Now, I hope that helps and makes some level of sense, because if we can change those thoughts, so I'll give you back my back to front iceberg, I'll post this in the notes, or I've got a PDF of it which I'll post on the Facebook page. But this says thoughts. Our thoughts provide our feelings, which control our actions and our results. So if we can change the way we're thinking, we can feel more confident, we can take more confident action, and we'll help more people and make more money, which is what we all want. So I hope that helps. There's a blog post I've got on my website called to help you with the 5 steps towards confident pricing. So that's at bit.ly/confident pricing, or go to moneymindsetcoaching.co.uk. I'll put the links in the notes. I've also got a workshop coming up, one in person if you're local to Egham, on the 4th of May, and I'm going to do the same thing online for people who can't get to me in person as well. And that's going to be a good 2-hour, both in person and online, are going to be a good 2-hour deep dive into how to set your prices and talk confidently about money, so that you can help more people and make more money. So, but I'll tell you more about the workshops in tomorrow's Facebook Live and Friday's Facebook Live, where I'm going to be doing 2 more different ways that you can talk confidently about money. So I think that's it for today. I hope that's been of help, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care now.